Hey, the EA Play Conference just ended. Got my notes here, and well, some interesting stuff have come out of it. You know, nothing too groundbreaking, but pretty much the big game of the showing is, of course, with Battlefield 3, which we have got a lot of information on. Because by my notes here, is pretty much the gameplay was mainly focused on a tank level, so it was mainly showing off the vehicle at the press conference. But of course, they had some gameplay footage and a little bit of multiplayer. The multiplayer stuff didn't really show that much beyond, you know, pretty much still beautiful and destruction of the environment it killing over. That's pretty much about it from the actual multiplayer trailer. But the other information is quite interesting here. Battlefield 3, as a lot of you know, with what Call of Duty doing here now with Call of Duty Elite, you know, pretty much the big point that they were getting called, mainly poking fun here, is that we know Call of Duty Elite is going to charge you for something or another, which we still don't know exactly how that's going to work. But the Battlefield 3 is going to have a pretty similar thing. They didn't show any examples. They just said, you know, stat tracking in a normal routine, you know, pretty much what I figure is pretty much on the level of probably how Halo does it, probably a little more, probably a little deeper. I don't know. More information hopefully will come out about that, but you know, throughout the week. But the main thing is, no version of it, of course, going to be free. It's going to be on the website, of course. It's going to be an open beta coming on September, which isn't that far. But on side of the multiplayer beta for Battlefield 3, we also got a release date, which is October 25th of this year, which is, you know, from my point of view, it's extremely great, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you probably will agree with that. So that is also fantastic. But on the other side, outside of Call of Duty, and of course, a Zombiac new game. Outside Battlefield, sorry, here. It's been a long day. Anyway, a Zombiac game, which is Overstrike, which the name itself doesn't sound all that great. When you hear the concept, it don't seem all that great, which is a pretty much, you know, 4 or 5 people, which is, you know, usually like it's mercenary, it's scientist, the worst of the worst, you know, of the field, thief, scientist, warrior, blah blah blah. Beyond the name, we didn't get nothing more than a CG trailer, which by the trailer, you know, showing off some of the weapons, the gameplay style for each character, which, you know, personally for me here, watching the trailer, the CG trailer, you know, we didn't see no gameplay or anything, so, I mean, that's all theory here. If they haven't already said, I'm not sure, but it really seemed like they're going to be multiplayer-wise, or heavily multiplayer as far as co-op is concerned, and it's they put the story, you know, the worst of the worst, pretty much taking on a shady, evil force from taking over the planet, which, you know, it's like every James Bond film under the sun. But outside of that, the gameplay is, or the video itself, you got that vibe across that it's going to be a good time, and since it's a Zombiac, you know, I'm pretty sure it should be an interesting little game here, and should be at least entertaining. On the other side is, of course, Facebook games, which, you know, they really didn't talk about that many. The main one they talked about was the Sims. I think it's Sim Social, what they were calling it, which will be available on Facebook, which, you know, the Facebook game. But from actually seeing the gameplay footage that they actually showed, it actually seemed like a pretty decent Sim game. Any if they was obviously trying to sell the court to women, mainly women on Facebook talking about needing a boyfriend and going on, why don't you just make him into Sims? And, you know, the normal Facebook routine of selling to women and people who are truly bored. So, yeah, if you enjoyed the Sim, you're going to get a Sim game coming to Facebook here sometime soon. They didn't give us that release date on that. But the only other thing that is notable from EA Play Conference is, you know, pretty much they all go in the whole Call of Duty wild of the Halo Call of Duty, you know, stat tracking stuff. They are pretty much bringing that over to every game. The main one that they were talking about outside of Battlefield was, you know, all the FIFA games, so they are highly trying to get into that market of stat tracking and making everything social and linking into websites and stuff. That was a little bit of focus, at least on the sports side. But outside of the normal sport and into racing, I don't usually cover racing games since my feelings are kind of waning on that genre altogether. But on top of that, as like, like every year they pretty much come out with a new Need for Speed game. Which, going into it, I wasn't expecting much, Need for Speed and Need for Speed. But with the new one, Need for Speed, the one, actually seeing the gameplay, I was just like, wow, this is going to be interesting. Because the main concept that they were talking about, of course, all the stat tracking and stuff from the Need for Speed game, and of course, going to still be here. But the whole idea is pretty much you and your friend racing from, I think they say California to New York, and the stat tracking, seeing how you get there and so on. But what is very interesting here is now you got outside car scene, which you're going to be on foot. The gameplay they showed of you on foot, it's pretty much like the gameplay start racing, you wreck, you jump on foot, you get chased by the cops, you steal a cop car, and then you run from the cops. It's mainly what the gameplay boiled down to. But the on foot sessions actually seem like it's going to be more pretty much, contact sensitive type of thing, put triangle and square at this point to do this scene, the normal God of War, Shamu type of thing. But it's extremely dramatic in the way they do it. So, most people probably going to frown on it because it's that. But, for me, I would have a flashback to some of like the Motor Drill and what parts of Heavy Rain and the actual warning from the cop section brought back memories of Driver 1. So, automatically in my heart, I'm just like, wanting it because, the new Driver game doesn't look that great. Then again, that might change by the time the week over. But, yeah, Need for Speed 1, you guys need to keep a close eye on that. And, yeah, that's pretty much for the EA Play conference. And, yep, I'll be back probably later today with the next conference, which I believe is Sony next. And of course Nintendo, I think it's tomorrow and so on. So, yeah. To the next video. See you guys.